Hello, everyone. I'm Colleen Vander Zijden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I am a medium and a spiritual life coach, and my passion is to help you create your best life. I love to say your most awesome, best inspired life. I love to throw all those other adjectives in there with it because we want to have a life that we love, a life that's exciting, and the life we actually deserve. And every week on this show, I do a little bit of a topic. I like to talk about a topic. I call them coaching tips, and I like to share ideas as to how you can move forward in your life. And many of them involve shifting your mindset, your belief systems, and they always have a little bit of action in there just to try to implement some of these ideas that I have. And tonight, I'm going to talk about the experiment of life. Do you remember back when you were younger and you did experiments? You would go outside maybe and put things together. You'd have an idea, I just want to mix these things together. Or you were in science class. Remember labs in science? Ugh, not my favorite, but you remember those? We would get there and they would give us a hypothesis. So we'd have an idea of something we wanted to create, but we had to test it to see how it was going to come out. And with experiments, it's all about taking things, actions. We might mix things together. We might heat them up. We might shake them up. Something to put them all together and see what happens. And life is so much like a big experiment. We have ideas as how life is going to go, our hypothesis. And we hope it's going to go that way. We think it's going to go that way, and it should go that way. And then we take action. And then we end up seeing what happens. Sometimes it works the way we planned. Sometimes it works the way we hoped. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. And I've met so many people lately who are not having a good time with their experiment in life. They have so much fear around them that's stopping them from taking action. It's stopping them from creating their best life. Have you ever been paralyzed by fear? You might have. Many people have. And when we're paralyzed by fear, we just don't take any action. We may not know what to do. We may not know how to do something. We may feel we don't have enough knowledge. So we have a fear we don't know enough. We have a fear we don't have enough money. We may have a fear of failure or success. We may have a fear of being attacked by other people, feeling as though we're being judged, and then we're not good enough. And fear comes through in lots of different ways. You may not even realize you believe something and that you have a fear inside you. You may not even know. And it can come through with procrastination. We put things off and just don't do them. We don't even try. We just give up. We give up. We may have excuses as to why we can't do whatever. We may blame others for our lack of action. All of these things are all fear-based. When you think back to experiments when you were younger, and I'm sure you did some, I don't know anybody who hasn't done an experiment when they were younger. Think about how you felt then. It was a mix of curiosity. You know, we're going to put this together and what happens and just see. It's also, we were kind of playful with it. We would do that mixing thing because there's always a mixing and it might be exciting. You remember in science, or someplace else if you're very creative, mixing something together and wondering if it's going to blow up. And that was always kind of fun. So that's more of a playful nature. We've got the curiosity and we've got this playful side. And when we look at the experiment of our lives, we mix so many different things together. We have our situations around us, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant. We have the people around us. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're not. We have our physical issues of health, weather even, our living space, money, anything that's physical. We also have the inner mental and emotional beliefs. We have beliefs, worries, joys, fears, all of those things. And we mix all of those parts together to create our lives. Now, it sounds really complicated if you think about it that way, a little too academically. But it's really not, because so much of it we just do. And if we can look at life as an experiment where we're feeling curious and we're feeling a little playful, we're actually going to create our lives from a better, positive energy. If we're scared or fearful and things are getting in our way, and fear getting in our way, showing up in different ways, we're actually creating a life that's not going to be very emotionally satisfying. Now, to play with this idea of experimenting with your life, if you think of it as, experiment with your whole life, that's just too much to handle. That's just overwhelming. So you have to pick just little things that you can use to experiment with. Sometimes I'll go have a drink with a friend of mine, and I'll say to the waitress that I would just want a drink with rum in it, and be creative, come up with something, experiment. And sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't, but it's fun to do something like that. If you're thinking about traveling in a car or something, and would you be willing to take a spontaneous side trip and just go someplace else, or take a different route even these days? Or do you have such a fear that you have to be there as quickly as possible? You have to get there right away, whether or not you really do. Some people have a fear when things go wrong that they don't want to take any action at all, because if they take action, it's going to get worse, or it's just going to make everything even more overwhelming for them. But one thing I've learned over time here is that every single action I take will lead me to the right place. I may get some detours along the way, but it's going to lead me to the right place eventually. So just by taking action, you're putting it out there that you're looking forward to this, to moving into a different part and experimenting with your life. I have a friend who has this great fear of cooking, to the extent that she actually really doesn't cook very much. And I think she's afraid, besides the food could be inedible and edible, I can't even say it, that you can't eat it, that it's that you might poison someone, or it might just be so ridiculously awful. And it's gotten to this point now that she really won't do much with it. And I'm finding, I don't know, maybe just because I'm getting older, that I like experimenting with cooking now, and with other things as well. And I'll just say, let's see what happens. I'm not the greatest cook in the world, but I'm willing to give it a whirl and see what happens. And I was trying a new recipe a little while ago. It was some kind of a vodka chicken creamy sauce thing. You put it with pasta. And so I thought, well, this will be fun. We've never tried this. So I'm cooking away, and I asked my boyfriend, do we have any vodka? And he says, yes, we do. And I'm like, great. Okay. So he hands me the bottle. I pour the vodka into the pan, and it doesn't really smell like vodka. And I'm going, uh-oh, what's going to happen? It's got a little bit of a fruity smell. And so I look at the bottle, and it's actually blueberry vodka. Oh, not exactly what we planned. So we mixed the things together I wanted, and then we added something I didn't realize I was adding, which is a lot like life. But as this is happening, what are you going to do? You can't take it back out. So we just keep going. We were really curious as to how it was going to come out. It was okay. I wouldn't recommend it, though. I wouldn't recommend it. But this did not stop me from trying new dishes, being willing to just throw something together. And life is like cooking with a recipe. It's like a recipe. We add a little bit of this together, a little bit of that together, maybe things we didn't intend to add together, or they just happened. There's not really exact measurements. In some cooking, I know you have to have exact measurements, but really cooking it can be a little more vague. And my daughter just hates it when I'm like, just add a little bit more of that and a little of that, little of that. And life and cooking, if you can be open to the experiment of the unknown, try it out, see what happens. My favorite phrase these days, try it out, see what happens. We can't definitively know how life is going to go. No matter how much we plan, it's not going to go the way we want. No matter how much we think this step is going to take us someplace else, it may or may not. We can't know. So we just do our best. And if we let fear get in our way, and remember, it comes in all sorts of different ways. We make a mistake, and then we have a fear of being judged. We may wait for the best time to do something, which is really a fear of moving forward. We may wait until our plans are exactly perfect before we're going to even attempt to move forward. And that's not going to really work so well either. And we may, and I've heard this a couple of times in the last couple of weeks here, I'm waiting for God to show me. And with that waiting that they're doing, they're just sitting there. They're not doing anything. We have to have some taking action. You take the action, and maybe God will guide you to a better path, and maybe just push you in a different direction. But if you're just sitting in your house waiting for God to show you, nothing's going to happen, and you're certainly not experimenting with your life. So if fear is stopping you from moving forward, you're missing the point of being here. We're supposed to be having fun. We're supposed to be having a good time. We're supposed to be experimenting with our lives and just figuring it out as we go. So starting small, you want to take a small step. Let me try that again. You want to make a small dish. Try a dish, something like that. Be curious about things. Try things in a different way. Drive a different way. That's just something you can do. Go off your plan. Embrace the unknown. Try something new, anything new, and experiment with it. And look at it playfully, joyfully, with curiosity. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Start small, though. We don't want to do it with your whole life here right away, because you just never know what might happen. You get that curiosity and playfulness going, and it's a lot easier to just have fun and see what happens. And your life may actually turn out to be better than you had planned. And that's when you're actually creating your most awesome, inspired life. And you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vander Zyden. And we're going to move on to my first caller. We have, oh boy, Aslam. I like that name, from British Columbia in Canada. Aslam, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I really like your name. It's
Thanks.
So cool. It's very different and very cool. I love that. How can I help you tonight? Do you have something in particular in mind?
Yes. I'm going to do a field work sometime in a couple of days or sometime in the end of July, and it will be for 8 weeks. Somewhere in BC, in a remote area. And because I have a fear of driving, and you were talking about fear today, I have a little bit of fear in driving, and I wanted to know if somebody would come and pick me up from the airport and take me to this to the site that I'll be working. It's 2 hours drive from the airport, or will I end up driving by myself? And I'm also curious to know, how will I do in this job? Would I be doing a good job? And how would it go for me? If you can pick up anything on that.
Yes, okay. Now, it's interesting, when you were talking about somebody, if they would pick you up and drive you there, it didn't feel quite right to me. And then as soon as you said, or if I should drive, or if I will drive, and I thought, yep, that's what you're going to do. And I'm definitely feeling you driving. And the reason for this is because I'm feeling you really want to get the full experience of this experience. I feel like you really want to feel accomplished when you're done. I feel like you want to really know what you can achieve and what you can do. And this seems to be part of it. Now, obviously, they're obviously not that connected together. You're driving and doing the field work, but they are, because it's very important for you to have that sense of satisfaction. I do feel that with the driving, that it's not going to be a problem, okay? It feels like it's going to be rather simple for you to do, and I do feel that you're not going to get lost. So if you have a fear of that. Will this be in a more remote area?
It will be from a small town to another little town, almost remote,
Okay, because I don't feel a lot of traffic or things like that around you. And it actually feels rather peaceful, the drive. So I'm feeling you're going to do it. You do whatever you want, but that's what I'm feeling. And
would there be a lot of windy roads, like, bad roads, or smooth, if you can feel that?
Yeah, most of them look pretty good. There's a couple that look a little bit dirt, kind of, but nothing serious. It just doesn't feel serious to me, and it feels actually. As I'm looking around on these roads, it looks really pretty and really beautiful, and your awareness of that. I feel you driving and being able to be aware. So the roads cannot be bad if you're aware of your surroundings and looking around you. So this will be fun to see. Now, the field work itself, that I get such a good sense of satisfaction with as well. There's that feeling of enjoying what you're doing. I also get the impression there's going to be some other people working there with you. Are there going to be others there?
Of course, yes.
Okay. And it feels as though there's some really nice people there, some really good people. I feel such a great experience for you. And actually I'm also feeling that it's kind of opening up more of you. You're starting to really see what you can achieve, see what you can do, see the difference you can make. And there seems to be a real growth there with you. It seems that this is going to be very exciting. Have you done field work before?
Yes.
Okay. And you must have liked it in the past. From what I'm seeing, it just seems like this is so good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, I really feel good about this. So this will be fun. I hope you have a good time there.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Well, thank you so much for calling. That was Aslem from British Columbia in Canada. And I just love that name. I just can't get past it. And next, we're going to move on to Suzanne in Florida. Suzanne, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Oh, good. And are you looking for anything in particular tonight?
I have so many things going on in my life. So you can just pick any area and I can elaborate if you like.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is the time. Everybody's having things.
I'm telling you, I have a husband that I sent divorce papers to 2 months ago, and he won't sign them. And I don't know what's up with that. I'm trying to sell my house. It's been sold twice, and it's fallen through twice, and just craziness in my life. So,
yeah, okay. Well, I think what I want to do with you is I want to connect in with this man I feel on the other side. Is your father on the other side by any chance?
He is. He is.
This man who comes in, I get a real fatherly vibration with him. And is he a little bit serious at times? Because I can feel the love and a sense of humor, but it seems like there's a lot of seriousness with him.
With my dad?
Yeah, was he on the more serious side?
Actually, he was like a practical joker.
Okay, he doesn't have to be, so it may not be your dad. So we may have another person stepping in. But this one I'm feeling, because I do feel laughing and stuff like that, but there's a serious side coming through. So we'll see how it goes. Because this man, he's quite concerned about wanting you to be happy, of course, but also he's quite concerned about you taking the right action here, taking the right steps. He's given me the impression, and, not to bring any weird news to you, but he's given me the impression it's not the right time to sell the house. And obviously, if it's fallen through twice, then it's not for some reason, but he's for some reason, I'm feeling this sense of wanting to hold off right now and not sell the house. I don't know why as yet, so let me see what else he has to say about it. Is there some ambivalence about selling the house with you or your husband?
No, I don't even talk to my husband, so I don't know, and he has nothing to do with that. It's between my mother and I. He has nothing to do with it. I'm wondering if you're picking up on his grandfather, because his grandfather was very serious. Or my brother.
Okay.
So.
Oh, now here we run into a problem. Okay. This is what I tell my private people having readings. If we have a spirit coming in and the advice that's being given does not match or doesn't fit the situation, you got to remember where you're getting the advice from. Okay. So so that could give you some. If he's related to your husband, is what I'm warning you that maybe this information will not be what you want to hear. I will make sure, I will make sure to touch in psychically as well to see what my impressions are too, okay? I do like connecting with the spirits. It's always fun. But this one, for whatever reason, he's talking about taking your time on selling the house. There's something there with that, and I don't know what it is, and it may be a division of money, something there that way. I want to see what he has to say about your husband, though. Oh, okay. Well, this is okay from your perspective, probably not from your husband's. Now there's this feeling of it's about time, because it seems to me from what he's saying that you and your husband have had some issues for a bit of time. And he's actually kind of given you the go-ahead on the divorce thing, okay? So that's nice. Well, I didn't expect that, so that's good.
No, it is. I just can't get him to sign the papers.
Yes. And, well, there's an interesting thing, though, with this, because you would think that his relative would be more of, stay with him or whatever, but no, I'm not getting that at all. There's a reason he's not signing the papers, and it appears to be based in some idea that something may change. I don't know if you guys are both in agreement that this is a good deal, good idea, getting divorced. I am getting some hesitation from that with him. Obviously, if he's not signing it, there's something stopping him. And is there any chance he thinks you guys are going to get back together? I'm not feeling that, but is there any chance he would think that?
I can't imagine that unless he thinks I want him, but he's has another woman moved in with him.
Yeah.
He's involved with someone else. So I can't figure that one out either. It's so weird.
Yeah. It is weird. It's very strange because you know what? Oh, part of it too. Okay, he just told me part of it's a control issue because it's like he doesn't want you to be in control of the situation. So he gives me the impression that's a control thing. Okay, this person on the other side is talking about trying to make it very beneficial for him, what he's going to get out of this. And I feel like money seems to be a speaking thing here. So making sure he's aware that I don't even know what the money situation is because I'm not picking that up at this moment, but making sure he's aware of the benefits of signing the papers because it seems like, well, it's almost like he's just being a jerk. You know what I mean? But it's that control issue.
There's no money involved at all.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a backdoor thing that has to do with money. I don't know what this means, though. So if there's something, because I feel like you guys have pretty much separated everything out, and I'm feeling like you're making the right decision. And I feel like this is actually kind of a huge relief off your shoulders.
It would be wonderful. It would be wonderful.
Yeah, it seems like we have to do some kind of a backdoor thing to somehow convince him that he's going to get something more out of this. And I don't know what this means. So hopefully it'll make more sense as the next couple days go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an odd feeling because he's definitely even though he's moved on, and I want to say that in quotes, I don't know that he fully has. And I don't mean to imply that means he still wants to be with you and all of that. It's more, I'm just getting this feeling that there's leftover emotion of wanting to stay connected but not necessarily for the best reasons. It's a weird feeling. Very strange. Yeah. Now, do you have another house in mind that you want to move into or something? Are you living in the house you're trying to sell?
No, well, here's what happened. I didn't get to go to closing on that house, on my house, and my mom bought another house, and I moved into it. So, because the realtor said, well, make it vacant and it'll be easier to sell. And it's a big financial burden on my mother. It's a big financial burden on me because I'm paying for both houses, and I'm going crazy, honestly.
I would think so.
And they're an hour apart, and I'm still doing work in one house and coming back to the other one. It's a mess. It's a big mess. I'm trying to work full time.
Yeah. And it just seems like it's definitely overwhelming when I touch in with that. It just feels like it's too much. And I want to find out more about why he's hesitating. There's something about the way the house is being presented. Do you have a really good real estate agent?
She's amazing.
Because we need to come at it.
I fired my first realtor, and now we have a new one.
Okay, good. Okay, so this may very well be the shift we need, because it may be that we're trying to find the exact right people who would really like the house and would really love it as much. And so there's that. I'm also wondering about family, advertising it for family and, a great place for the kids to grow up, that kind of thing. Has she done anything with that?
No, it's in the state forest, so she advertised hunting, and there's a place to, I don't want to sound awful, but the place to clean your deer and all that.
Okay. Yeah. I just get a more family feel with it. People who would want to be out, kind of more supporting themselves. I can't think of the name of it. The people who are off the grid and want to live, their own life, like their homesteading kind of feeling there. So there might be something to add something in there about a great place to raise kids, beautiful surroundings, seclusion, etc., like that. Because really, when it comes down to it, it's the wife that's making the decisions on houses. So if you can get a female kind of thing going with that, that may be an additional thing. So if we have a husband and a wife out there with a family, and the husband likes the hunting and the wife is looking for a place to raise her kids, it might help bring it together more, because I just get that feeling sensation.
Okay.
So, yeah, you might want to talk it over with her and see what she thinks. Obviously she's going to know better than I will because she knows the area, but that may be something to try and see.
Okay.
There's a good feel with that. Okay, now I do want one more thing before I have to let you go. Where are we now? We're in July, October, September, October. It does feel like those papers will be signed by then. I'd like to tell you sooner than that, but I'm not really getting it. So September, October. So I guess that's not that far away, really.
No, not really. Not at all. Not at all.
Really. So let's hope for that. We'll keep. Go ahead. Sorry. I was just going to say we'll keep our fingers crossed.
I don't know if you have time for a quick question. I have a friend he's in another country, and I haven't heard from him. I don't know what's happened, and I don't know if I've done something with him wrong, or he's just that busy, if I'm going to hear from him. I've been friends with him for 25 years.
Okay. So the first impression, I only have like a few seconds left, but my impression is that he's just really, really busy now. So keep sending messages and contacting him. And I do feel he'll get back to you. Okay, I'm so sorry I have to let you go.
No, it's okay. This is so exciting. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. And that was Suzanne from Florida. Now, I'm Colleen Vanderzijden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. And this week, remember to try to experiment with your life a little bit. Just the fun little things, not the big stuff, just little stuff. And you can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Medium Coach Colleen Vanderzijden. I will talk to you next week. You have a good week. Goodbye.